Oop, there we go. What? All right, everybody, welcome to the Nervous Ghost Press Open Mic. We are here in the Community Arts Workspace. Some people are painting. We got some people on Zoom, some on their way, allegedly. But we are not psychics. At least I'm not. Although maybe I am. One person is 36 minutes away. Sure. Sounds good to me. There we go. I'm looking at my phone. Anyways, so Nervous Ghost Press. And if you're curious why the screen looks so much cooler, I think so. I changed it today. I was waiting. I set up the workspace. I set up all the painting and the tables and everything. I did some sweeping, which you can't tell on the computer, but it looks a lot nicer. And then I was like, oh man, I want to update the screen. And so I decided to mess with it. And then, as some of you know, and some of you are very well aware, you just have to do it. And so then I spent the next 3 hours. And I did it, and it was cool, and I like it. And you'll see as when I introduce our community guest MC how much bigger they're going to be, which is awesome. But so our open mic occurs during Arts Night, which today is our second Arts Night, and next month is going to be Halloween Arts Night. And we called it Hollow Screen for the last couple years, and it's going to be Hollow Screen. It returns Arts Night. I'm going to have a costume contest in person and on Zoom too. So if you're joining, or actually it might be Google. I'm going to change it because we have a Google thing, and I'm going to try and have it all kind of the same. But a costume party either online also. So if you dress up and we can see your costume, maybe somebody wins something. I haven't thought of a prize yet, but if you have ideas, we can figure it out and make it happen. Pumpkin carving in the studio, which will be great. I'll buy a couple pumpkins. I think bring your own pumpkins, and I haven't decided yet. You can email me your thoughts or put it in the YouTube thing, and I'll check it later. If we should do a ghost pumpkin carving, jack-o'-lantern, or if you could or maybe. My old logo before I was a ghost was a skull with a mohawk. So maybe it's make a skull with a mohawk pumpkin. That would be awesome. Anyways, all right. I got to get into all the real stuff. So, Nervous Ghost Press, we are a 501c3 nonprofit arts advocacy organization, and we advocate for making art accessible to those who need it most. And whatever that means is what it means. And so if you're out there somewhere and you just need to write, come write. The space is open for you. You could always use it. If I'm here, and I'm usually always here, if you need to paint, if you need to sing, if you need to dance, if you need to do whatever you need to do, come. That's the point. I know for a fact that art is the reason why I'm here. Maybe some of you are here too because of art. We all have art in us. We're all artists. I truly believe it. Even if you're a scientist, you're still an artist. If you're a construction worker, you're an artist. If you're a person who thinks I'm not a creative, you are still an artist because you're human. And I think fundamental to us being human is being artists and being able to create and having our voice and our voices exist for a reason. So our space is the Community Arts Workspace, and like I said, it is free for those who need it. There are computers, there's extra tables. If you move a computer, there's really one extra table, but if you move a computer, there's two extra tables. And you can come and just work on whatever you have to work on, homework included, because school started. And I have my first class. I'm going back to school on Monday. It's kind of wild. We have an art gallery in our space, which is a lot of fun too. So if you're out there and if you are a up-and-coming artist and you can't get an exhibit, email me and we'll get you an exhibit. It's a lot of fun. I have ideas to paint the tiles, so you could be the first person to paint the ceiling tile. I want them all painted. And Dennis, can you count the ceiling tiles so I could say how many there are in like the next 2 minutes? But anyways, so we have a program within the open mic that is a community guest MC, and the point of the community guest MC is to get your voices out and to practice and to get comfortable in your voice, or just to give yourself a microphone to share what you advocate for and to let people know who you are. And it's been a lot of fun having community guest MCs, people I've never met. We've had people from outside of California be the MCs. We've had them online. We've had them in person. It's been a lot of fun. I don't know, have we had a repeat guest MC yet? Maybe it's time to have a repeat MC. How many? You were. Dennis is a repeat MC. Yeah, but you don't count because you're the guy. He's the ghost. And so I will introduce Dennis, and then Dennis is going to run it for us. I'll be the computer camera guy. And so I've known Dennis for how many years? 16, 17? How old are we now? Is it 20 now? Oh, 20 years. Thanks for making me feel older. Yeah, I've known Dennis for 20 years. He has been my art buddy for a long time. He is also our editor-in-chief, which is great. We are all working on the waiting room, and for those of you who have submit, we're almost done. We're almost done. We can send out the announcements hopefully soon. So just thank you for your patience. It takes time, and we're working on it. But Dennis is a fantastic artist, writer, person, friend. He has cool hair. I don't like it when he's around because then my hair is not the coolest hair. But I'd rather not have the coolest hair and have Dennis be around than have the coolest hair and not have Dennis be around. And so everybody, please welcome our community guest MC, editor-in-chief of Nervous Ghost Press, Dennis. Mm-hmm. Go ahead and talk.
Just looking at you from this distance, this angle,
there you go.
your mohawk looks like a shark's fin. How about now? Yes, yes. Yeah, yeah. I can't even hear myself, though.
Well, you won't hear yourself.
Ah, okay. Oh. Oh, okay. Sorry, I'm a little nerve-wracked. I'm not used to this because normally when I did this, I was drunk. I guess that's where proficiency lies. Yeah, I haven't really written much in years. So being back here, because he's been trying to get me back in here for how many months now? Several. But I'm just grateful to be here with Matt. So today I had to go dig up all my writing that I buried 4 years ago in a graveyard. Yeah, in an empty spot. So I haven't looked at this in many years. So please bear with me because I was very young and naive. So I'll just open up with this poem I wrote called The Suicide Note Found in Davy Jones's Locker. Good morning. It is time for a new direction, and I did what I could. I am about to die. I've tried to discharge my duties faithfully. I regret nothing, but I am sorry I am about to leave my friends. Dying is a very dull and dreary affair. My advice to you is to have nothing, whatever, to do with it. Sacrifices must be made. So cheap to die, so hard to die. I die hard, but not afraid to go. May I not seem to have lived in vain. A dying man can do nothing easily. All the damn foolish things you do in life, you pay for. The future is just old age and illness and pain. I must have peace, and this is the only way. You can keep those things of bronze and stone and give me one man, just one man, to remember me once a year. And here I will be, dying of 100 good symptoms. One last drink, please. Drink to me, drink to my health, because you know I can't drink anymore. But how the devils do you think this could harm me? I am Providence. Dear world, I am leaving you. I'm so bored with it all. I'm leaving you tucked in with your worries in this sweet cesspool. And so I leave this place, this world, these streets, where the heart must either break or turn to lead. The taste of death is upon my lips. I feel something that is not of this earth. Don't waste any time in mourning, for I am in the land of the dying, and I am soon going to the land of the living. And I know not what tomorrow will bring, but tomorrow I shall no longer be here. I've made a long voyage and been to a strange country, and I've seen the dark man very close, and I don't think I was too much afraid of him. But so much of mortality still clings to me. I wanted most desperately to live, and still do. The mode of death is sadder than death itself, and this sadness will last forever. And now a word from our sponsors. Thank you. I didn't actually write that, because those are the last words of over 100 people. One of them was Jack Daniels, who said, "One last drink, please." And the last line was a television broadcaster who said those last words and put a gun to his head and killed himself on live television. So I was always fascinated by forms and how to create new things rather than the banal where you use stars or suns or moons or morning or night. Why not use something that's already been said? There's more veracity, more tenacity as well when stories are true. I became very obsessive about that rather than fiction, because anybody could create anything. Imagine creating a remote that can control time. Fiction, anybody can do, but how many people can really live? That is the hardest task to do. And to go back into my younger years, this is the first Valentine I ever wrote. On a typewriter that was a Valentine. I still have it. I actually pawned it once to get gas money and then had to go back and get it. So this one's called "To the Dear of My Every Letter." To the dear of my every letter, in turn I hope to be. You're the friend I love most, but stay far away from, so I won't screw it up. You're loved by all for your charisma, charm, and your identity alone takes us all on. Tonight, I found this strange yellow leaf that reminded me of you, not because it had fallen, but in its shape I found a star. And when you're gone and I'm silent, you'll still be the present on every lingering tree, in every timely spring and every browning fall, still shining like the diamond sunset peeking over us. I wanted to take the time to thank you for this, for without you I wouldn't be able to pronounce autumn so tenderly, and without you I wouldn't see the way you see me. I love you, and all who see you will see the way that I do. For you, and with my closed eyes, I can see beyond the worlds that contain this one. With my heart just like yours, I can feel the sunlight on my back from the other side of the world. With the lips I've been given, I can kiss your very being back into existence if we should ever fall. I can give you everything the world could never produce. If my lungs were filling with water, I'll say your name over and over again, making every star go bright awake. Thank you. So where's that list? Thank you kindly. Any order? I like this order. Who is here? The yellow. Gotcha. Let's go alphabetical. Ian.
It is a little awkward. And I remember like when the camera used to be right where you were, Mr. Mejia, there, it was always like, do I look past the people sitting there? Do I focus on that camera? Do I just like drift off into some, I'm usually too awkward, so I like drift off somewhere else. But I actually didn't really plan on reading today, but I know like driving here, I was like, Matt is going to just put my name down anyways, so I should probably like think of something to do. And it was lovely to meet you in person finally today. So, what was that? You do that. I think since the first time I showed up, you have been just randomly putting my name down, and I never. But it's my fault for not confirming whether I want to read or anything or not. But I'm just gonna do some really short stuff today. Um, Maybe a couple. And actually, like I appreciated your first piece. There was something that somebody did recently that it just kind of reminded me of, where they were combining sort of like different song names and song lyrics that other folks were had written like across decades, and they wove it into like something that was uniquely their own, and like that was really lovely. And there's like certain parts where it perked my ear. It's like, do I recognize that or not? And then to call out that final piece from that video of that's a very defining video. If folks have ever seen it, it's yeah, it's intense. But so usually I always say this, I just end up doing a couple pieces that I've been reading from others lately that I enjoy, and then maybe I'll do sort of just one or two quick ones on myself. I recently, one of my all-time favorites is Edna St. Vincent Millay, and I've been reading one of hers again over the past couple weeks. And I got two of her pieces that stood out to me that I really loved, so I just wanted to share that with everybody. This piece is called Travel, and it stood out to me because my wife Lacey's here too, but we have a very wanderlust sort of mentality as well, where we've just like lived all over the country, we've traveled a lot together, and we make places feel like home for a short amount of time, but then it never quite totally feels like home, and then we end up somewhere else. But this one is called Travel. The railroad track is miles away, and the day is loud with voices speaking. Yet there isn't a train goes by all day, but I hear its whistle shrieking. All night there isn't a train goes by, though the night is still for sleep and dreaming, but I see its cinders red on the sky and hear its engine steaming. My heart is warm with the friends I make, and better friends I'll not be knowing, yet there isn't a train I wouldn't take, no matter where it's going. And then this one is called Burial, also St. Vincent Millay. Mine is a body that should die at sea, and have for a grave, instead of a grave, 6 feet deep and the length of me, all the water that is under the wave. And terrible fishes to seize my flesh, such as a living man might fear, and eat me while I am firm and fresh, not wait till I've been dead for a year. That one, just kind of, we're coming up on Halloween. Like it felt like a good little semi-creepy vibe. And is that a real story, by the way, of where you dug up your... That's amazing. I don't know if the feed was on when you said that, so I'm not going to like blow it up, but that was like super awesome. Dennis shared that he had hidden his pieces away in a graveyard somewhere. I don't know if that was on the live feed when it went live, but and he just recently went back and revisited those today and dug them up. So love that. Thank you for sharing those with us. All right, so I'm going to do two quick personal pieces. Obviously, just by the pieces I shared, like I always feel uncomfortable by being a fan of like the rhymier works because I know that it's sort of frowned upon often. But there's like a sentimentality to it that I really appreciate, and there's often times where I don't feel like I have enough time to write. So if I can fit in 20 minutes or 40 minutes at a park or something, I'm just scribbling something down, and usually it ends up coming out in some sort of like nursery rhyme type vibe. So that's just my quick little me time sort of process, and it ends up being that way. And this is like a really goofy one, but most of my weekly joy comes from little like food adventures, coffee adventures, going to check out all these places that I save on Yelp that I'll never get to all of them. So this was just like a real quick piece that I did at a park after getting some lovely treats and some delicious coffee. All right. So this was about a year ago. Not many moments can seem to match the days in which I stumble upon a hidden gem with shells of worldly treats and far-traveled snacks. Each drink contains some flavor that my palate feels is unfamiliar, with each bag filled with the strangest of combinations and textures to savor. For when I bite, it seems I've traveled to a culture and place that's offered a friendly hand extended to a stranger, or is it brother? Few treats I would not try, with these senses meant for adventure, so just point me in any direction to the nearest market or friendly vendor. Real corny, I know, but what? And then the last little, just short piece here, in the spirit of mentioning graveyards. And I know, Matt, you don't like when people don't title pieces, right? Because I pretty much never title anything, but that's all right. Yeah. Yeah, no worries, man. Adding some background context and audio. All right. How many days have disappeared into a blur? Our youthful expectation of the infinite ride, to forever drift, but then to wake, and then to drift, and always to wake, despite the winds, the current, and our compass, ushering us towards that lonely, frigid grave. That's it. All right, short pieces. Thank you, everybody.
I am a big, big, big fan of that little alien on your leg. I love Alf. Oh, yeah, I got to see the house before they demolished it. Yeah. No. Well, do you have the little dolls from Burger King?
I don't, but I have a stuffed animal literally in our bedroom that stares at us every night of Alf.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, shit, I really loved your work. Yeah, especially what you said about just fitting in some time to write. Stephen King, who I used to really, really admire in high school, he always said just any time that you write, it keeps the flame going. It's like a signal fire. So I'm very glad that I could hear someone say that. Keep on. Damn, now he inspired me to read one of my favorite poems. My God. My God. Well. Let's see. Let me see if I can find it with this reception. It's too big to fit in my hand. He's one of my favorites, Frank O'Hara. Some people consider him a beat poet, but others don't. His demise was rather tragic. He got, how do I say it? Got ran over by an ATV on the beach. So, but this one's called Having a Coke with You. Having a Coke with you is even more fun than going to San Sebastian, Irun, Hendaye, Barias, Bayonne, or being sick to my stomach on the Travesera de Gracia in Barcelona. Partly because in your orange shirt you look like a better, happier Saint Sebastian. Partly because of my love for you. Partly because of your love for yogurt. Partly because of the fluorescent orange tulips around the birches. Partly because of the secrecy our smiles take on before people and statuary. It is hard to believe, when I'm with you, that there can be anything as still, as solemn, as unpleasantly definitive as statuary, when right in front of it, in the warm New York 4 o'clock light, we are drifting back and forth, between each other like a tree, breathing through its spectacles. And the portrait show seems to have no faces in it at all. Just paint you suddenly wonder why in the world anyone ever did them. I look at you, and I would rather look at you than all the portraits in the world, except possibly for the Polish writer, occasionally, and anyway, it's in the Frick, which thank heavens you haven't gone to yet, so we can go together for the first time. And the fact that you move so beautifully, more or less takes care of futurism, just as at home, I never think of the nude descending a staircase, or at a rehearsal, a single drawing of Leonardo or Michelangelo that used to wow me. And what good does all the research of the Impressionists do them, when they never got the right person to stand near the tree when the sun sank? Or for that matter, Marino Marini, when he didn't pick the rider as carefully as the horse. It seems they were all cheated of some marvelous experience, which is not going to go wasted on me, which is why I'm telling you about it. Yeah, I like to read that poem every time I have a Coke, which is very often. I should have memorized it by now. Damn good piece. I'm just using this for balance. Margaret. You want to have a Dead Poets Society moment? No? Okay. Okay. Justin. Yeah.
All right. Let's see here. Okay. So this is new. Yeah, this is new. The context around this piece, I'm a dad. And a lot of times I feel as if we're pretty hard on our kids. We say a lot of stuff. These kids don't want to work very hard. And we complain a bunch about the kids. But I think in the process, we forget that we raised them. So in actuality, it's like, they are the personifications of our mistakes and errors in many ways. And so it's just kind of recognizing that, but at the same time, I think that there's space for some grace, for us parents. I don't think that there's some interesting circumstances, and we've all had to deal with our stuff and try to do the best with what we had. So here we go. This one is called Music Lessons. And also I was watching or listening to Clint Smith. He had Accounting Descent, and I was inspired by that piece. So here we go. So again, this is Music Lessons. I met my grandfather on the hexatonic scale after he died, and we reminisced in rhythm. He told me of times when bent horns blared con alma so that butterfly wings could burst through burdens on bent backs. A time when a scatting cool breeze soothed brows on Central Avenue and song royalty graced the Dunbar Hotel in Los Angeles. My grandfather was a non-combat war veteran because they wouldn't allow him to soar. He piloted his only trip over the River Jordan, so he never bounced the twinkle of his son's eyes on his knees. Radiation interferes with radio stations. Sister Tharps, when I come to the end of my journey, stopped early and the radio antenna attuned to tears. My grandfather never picked me up from baseball practice, but I suspect we became acquainted through the soundtrack of my father's childhood. He loved his wife attentively and cared for his children with soul. Since music saturated my father's home, I grew up in a house soaking in records and rhyme, sopping in riffs and runs, dripping in pride and protest. My dad was raised by monolith mentalities that flew off the handle and the cufflinks, and their intricate freedom songs seeped into his two-step, leaving his cha-cha syncopated. He laughed, said he was the proof that not all black people could bebop and dance. My dad was the oldest child of great migrating parents. He scaled the blues and rhythm of 116th and Avalon and Watts adeptly. He marched miles on sketches of spine, taking giant steps between the coal men of tired trains, trombone sliding to third grade when billy clubs and police dog clouds burst into fire hydrant downpours. He leaned into Aqua Boogie's funky groove and dodged hate drops during riots as a teenager. And on heat humming days, he On heat humming days, he waited for the mothership connection to beam him home from college. America bends all the rules, so assimilation settled in. So as assimilation settled in, it's no wonder straightened backs bent the rules to their new music, and form gave way to feeling. Blues to jazz to rap, the structure fell faster than progress after Reconstruction, and now racial slurs count for creativity in what they call music these days. Aspiring artists look more like venture capitalists these days, and the sound trumps substance these days. I'm sorry, son. I'm sorry for the soundtrack we burned for you. We are the grandchildren of American refugees, the children of desegregation, and the preteens of black being in America. We inherited a 1950s monochromatic black and blue good time, but life was 1980s neon and drugs were cheap. Our parents dared to march cracks into the streets. We pushed crack into the streets in every key of life till Nancy Reagan dared us to stop. Our lineage opened their wrists, eroding, shackled, and ruined racist words. We slid the bracelets back on. We are fit in our 50s grandparents, Caesar's Palace resorts over grandchildren's rehearsals, only taking the kids to Sin City where prayer is contraband. We are postscript parents, I do's after live birth signatures. From kids cooling again, sticking to dad's leather back seats, to teens hiding sticks under those same seats trying to be cool in the gang. Summer madness. We took Marvin Gaye's What's Going On and became what Marvin Gangster's What's Going On. But you came from a long line of poets, a legacy of music lovers, of songwriters, a legacy of rhythm rousers. I pray you find the courage to drum a new tune, hum a melody of beauty for my grandchildren, for they deserve to be known by their given name. My lullabies weren't always perfectly sung. There's much you'll need therapy for, and I'll take time off for that, but I'm alive and I didn't have that. So I'll be sure to tell your boys to listen to the remixes of your great-grandfather's love songs. And that's all I got.
Wow, holy crap. Justin, you have a rhythm and cadence to your poetry, a really nice flow. All right. Damn, that was just fantastic. Yeah, that was fantastic. Yeah. Jesus. All right. So this is a poem that I wrote as a eulogy for the man who inspired me to write. His name was Mark Child. He was my senior year English teacher, and he edited my first poems when I was barely starting out. I was working as a line cook in a burger restaurant in San Francisco, and my high school counselor, the nice one, not the one who tried to get me to be a fifth-year senior, called me and said he had passed away. And I said, could I write something about him? Because this was the guy who, every time we read Dracula, he would be Vlad Dracul. You know, he would read the darkness in there. And I remember one time that there was this guy named Sean Rigolato. If you're watching this, Sean, no hate, man. He had a big head, so hats never fit him. And he was a straight A student, always went after the extra credit. And I looked at him and I said, hey, Sean, you got some brown stuff on your nose. And he wiped, and I was like, you fucking brown noser. And he told Mr. Child, I was like, Mr. Child, Dennis called me a brown noser. And he said to him, consider him the source. Yeah, and then one time Mr. Child also said, hey, Dennis, point to your head. Say the acronym for mountain, empty, you're right. So he was always a challenging man, but he always worked with me. So this was the eulogy I wrote for him 14 years ago. It's called Sleep Well, Dream Carefully. Dear Mark Child, I don't know where do I start. It's as if an entire continent disappeared overnight and evaporated along with you into myth. Sadness is the reaper of my smile, and I'm burying my thoughts in yesteryears, where you're the man I least expected to leave an indelible mark on me. I disliked your appear-like wit because your comebacks would put me in my place. You could summon the nightmarish chills of Dracula with your own voice as you read aloud the pages of Stoker with all sense of verve and vitality. And the fervor of your craft whenever I would finish writing something fresh, ebullient, and progressive, what I thought. I'd share it with you, and watching you skipping the lines with your eyes, I wondered if you knew, too, that you were the one that brought sunlight to another side of the mountain that was me. You pushed me on when I was a patron saint of my own doubt. With no faith, no faith. No courage to break from comfortable weakness. And in my lowest ventures, you were that hand that plunged into the darkness where I didn't want to be saved nor found. But still, my sun was meant to rise again. I'm as morbid as the feeling of defeat. I am lost, and the arrow of my compass is headless. I am uncomfortable not ever admitting that you're my hero. I have been begging the earth with fists and nails to wake us all up as if we were sleeping, and that you only went for a walk, and you'd recede back into our lives any moment. I am waiting for Paul Revere to run by my door shouting to Downey, you are returning, you are returning. And I'm waiting for the director in the high heavens to come down and call out, that wasn't in the script. You taught me my art. You taught me how to love with your life, and that the only thing that will ever give up is you. I haven't written anything in 2 years, and somehow you brought the best out of me again. I want you to know you'll always be my friend, my ally, my comrade, my teacher. I will preserve everything you've taught me in the amber of my insides. I promise I will let every seed blossom and do no wrong. I'll see you again, of that I'm sure. Sleep well, Mr. Child. Sleep well. Dream carefully. He was a avid model airplane guy, so right after I finished, they just launched a bunch of airplanes in the football stadium. Yeah. Who do we have? Matt, you're up.
It's not true. All right, D'Angelo, I'm going to introduce you, okay?
Oh, okay, it's not you. Okay.
All right, so we're going to do something cool. So, D'Angelo, I'm going to take a little bit and try and set it up because it's new. So, one of the cool things about this space also is that we get to experiment all the time. We experimented, I think, 3 months ago, with an in-person guest MC. The previous ones were all online, which was kind of fun. It's easier. And then we figured out how to do it in person, which was fantastic. And now we're going to do, well, I got to go backwards a little bit. So in the system, there's like a Zoom speaker that goes into YouTube and then the microphone speaker that goes into YouTube. But today, we're going to try both at the same time. But before we do that, I forgot to do the thing I'm supposed to do all the time and throw up all of our social media stuff up there because I'm really bad at it. And if you've ever watched any of these, you'll know because I talk about it almost every single time. Connect with us on Instagram, Twitter, X, Facebook. I made a Blue Sky, and I don't know how to use it. So if you know how to use it, follow us on that one too, and you could be like our second follower because I legit I don't know how to use it. But also, if you're out there and you're a social media guru and you want to learn about designing books and how to format books and all this other kind of stuff, I'll teach you for free if you get us like 1 million followers. I think that's a pretty even trade-off. But anyways, follow us if you want to join any of our open mics, be part of the community, if you want to be a guest MC, if you just want to talk about art, about anything, and just if you have work and you want another pair of eyes on it, just send it to us. I'll always reply. I'll always say yes. Ask anybody here. I always say yes. And so stay connected with us. Okay, so D'Angelo, what I'm going to do is turn on your microphone first. Turn on the computer audio. Go to the file you sent me. That's not supposed to pop up there. Let's find it. Here it is. Wait. Okay, I think that means it works. So, you all heard it in person, right, out of the speaker? Yep. Sweet. Okay, so that worked. I'm going to play it for a little bit. Let me know the audio where it's at.
Okay.
And then where
We'll
you
start
like it, then I'll start it over.
Awesome.
Okay, here we go. Good already?
Yeah, I think that sounds, yeah.
I don't know if that's probably like more of a, can I take that as a highlight reel for myself that it was already perfect? Nah, just kidding. Anyways, all right, so everybody, this is D'Angela. D'Angela is part of our community. She's been awesome, shows up online and on Zoom, has a really cool hat, although I don't see it.
I can't wear the hat every time, Matt.
All right, no, I see how it is. All right, everybody, please, wait, hold on, where's the camera? Please welcome D'Angela. Dennis, I can see your shoulder just in case you're insecure about it. All right, whenever you're ready, tell me when.
Cool. I just made this track about, like, right before I came. So it's fun. I like sound designing and making symphony-sounding tracks. And, yeah, I decided I would make it, and then I was going to maybe just read some poetry on top of it. But then I heard some similarities in this song by Kathleen Edwards called Change the Sheets, which I absolutely love. So I said I'm going to layer that with this piece that I did. And, yeah, here it is.
I may have to, it may sound different because depending on this, but you're good.
Okay.
All right, starting it now.
Oh, one more time, Matt. I forgot to start from the beginning. One more time. I had to breathe.
All right, count me down.
In, go. My love took a ride on a red-eyed plane, going home, and we're never gonna feel the same. Change this feeling under my feet. Won't you change the sheets and then change me? You can turn it up just a little bit, Matt. My love is a stockpile of broken wheels, like Santa Fe, margaritas and sleeping pills. I wanna lie in the cracks of this lonely road. I can figure out the blanks for every time you don't phone. Here is the truth, I swear I was wrong. Go ahead and run, 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 run. Change this feeling under my feet. Won't you change the sheets and then change me? Change this feeling under my feet. Here is the truth, I swear I was fun. Go ahead and run, 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 run.
a stockpile of broken wheels.
Thank you.
Awesome. That was cool. Yes. Hey, Dennis, how come you have two stools over there?
Soup or something. Like, I would be doing that. Like, honestly, I would. That's freaking lovely. Damn. I'm gonna have a moment in the shower tonight, I swear. Thank you for that. Well, what should I do? Should I read a poem? Should I read someone else's poem? Should I pretend to be somebody else? Man, to quote Allen Ginsberg, when can I go to a supermarket and buy what I need with my good looks? Let's see. Well, I got one. Let's see. Let's hope the reception works, yes. Now, let's see. All right. Well, this is one of my favorite W.H. Auden poems called Funeral Blues. Stop all the clocks. Cut off the telephone. Prevent the dog from barking with a juicy bone. Silence the pianos and with muffled drum, bring out the coffin, let the mourners come. Let aeroplanes circle moaning overhead, scribbling on the sky the message he is dead. Put crepe boughs round the white necks of the public doves. Let the traffic policemen wear black cotton gloves. He was my north, my south, my east and west, my working week and my Sunday rest, my noon, my midnight, my talk, my song. I thought that love would last forever. I was wrong. The stars are not wanted now. Put out every one. Pack up the moon and dismantle the sun. Pour away the ocean and sweep up the wood. For nothing now can ever come to any good. Yeah, I want a love like that. I might. All right. Isn't it funny that we tell all the good things about someone when they're already ending, but not when they're around? I think about that a lot. And everybody tells me sometimes, how are you doing at the register? How many answer differently than, I'm okay, not bad? But then when you start talking at the cashier in the checkout line, they're like, I'm okay, just move along, move along. It's so weird to have human interaction these days. I wonder if we're ever going to be back to being human. Who knows? I volunteer Matt to read a poem. Hear, hear, D'Artagnan, come greet your musketeers.
You know, Dennis, one of the cool things about being the guy, the real guy, the guy,
Mm-hmm.
I don't gotta listen to you now. Just kidding.
Well, you look like Wilson from Home Improvement from here.
Okay, I'll read one.
Thank you. Are you going to switch the screen to you?
No, I'm right there. Oh, I gotta turn you off.
Yeah, turn me off, turn me on.
All right, this is the top one on the pile in my folder, so I'll just read it. This is called, I haven't read it in a while, I don't think since 2023. The title is, We Riot and Protest While the Children Are in Pain. We advocate for them and then bury them the same. The airwaves are filled with it. You can't talk or listen to nothing else. But nothing has a grasp on the people's hearts and mental health. It's over and over and over again pushed down the throats of people that can't take another day before tying up the ropes. It has to change. Will it ever? Will the advocacy prove better or just more noise? The numbers should be down. Instead, they're on the rise. It makes no sense. How many billions will the politicians spend to make themselves look like saints instead of the ones with swords and pens? It's like we're blind, purposefully so so we don't carry the weight of children? How can we live with nothing but trademarks, tags, and slogans? Is it enough to care, enough to show them we're still here? Our ancestors suffered through fucking heinous acts of violence. Why are we scared? So what's to come? Will we stand? Will we stand against the tide? Can we honestly pretend that we fought to save their lives? It's a sickness that we glorify and wear like a goddamn star. Pretend to advocate for things in our homes and from afar. We watch the children scream and cry and use them. It's all for show. We watch them live our fantasies. We witness everything except their growth. So to the coffin maker, save your time. You don't need to measure twice. If advocacy was enough, then no one else should die. Instead of pandering, how about we stand up and fucking try? So now I get to introduce Dennis to get back up here.
That was really wonderful, Matt. Thank you for sharing. Yeah. All right. Well, this one I wrote after seeing for the first time someone die in front of me. Nobody I knew. And this was in San Francisco. And I was so high on acid. So high. And, when you're young, you do stupid things. You think things are going to expand yourself. But George Harrison said, if you never did it, you don't need to know. Because that's what imagination is. So, this one is called Let California Tremble. Let California tremble in the Promethean lit night, where I wandered out from the Ligurian grave into saintly San Francisco in 1,000 sleeps, in 1,000 nightmares, waiting for Revelation's lore to come as I willingly entered the Broadway tunnel, hearing godless voices, barking deep in devil dialogues, howling back echoes and warning to turn back. But as arrogant as Icarus, I did not abide, and the stars cried, waning in celestial tears, devoured by lycanthrope King Moon. Pacing drunkenly, I remember the cancer running wild inside my father's rancid belly, eating the little martyr Jonah as well. Out of the throat of Broadway, the godless voices began to whisper, groaning from under the cracked concrete road, telling me their names with me knowing nothing, and so little of their dwindling future. From the void, God awoke, uttering a curse, bestowing it upon my ragged shoulders. And out from the cable car hotel, I received my heavenly sent gift. In the body of a dying man, hard of breath, with his stiffening hands outstretched towards an invisible sun trying to catch the warm rabbit of endless summer. As he trembled in shock at the streetlights seen in the company of demons, angels, gods, and Babylonian eyes, gathering for a feast of bloodshot eyes, twitching in the stink of fear. If his eyes could scream, they were. If his mouth was speaking, it was speaking in tongues. If his nose was breathing, it was breathing in Edison breath in front of me, and I inhaled it. If he had any children, I wouldn't know how to reach them or tell them how he died. If he had any last words for the world to record, we would never know. Staring into the most frightened of eyes belonging to a man whose untold origins I would never learn, but eternally etch his death place in mine. By the left hand he released the infernal plague charging from the slaughterhouse clouds over the glassy waves running over the bay, taking shape and becoming the animal, the beast, the dying man feared most, and dived spirit-like into his withering body, the image stealing the mere crumbs of leftover years to be lived. Before my very eyes, all I could do was watch California tremble. He died on California Street, right in front of Grace Cathedral. And a friend of mine, let's just say his last name was Black, he wanted to run. He wanted to leave him there. And I held his hand as he died. And I called 911, and I was there as best as I could, and I, at the very last moment, I fled, because my eyes, they're huge, the pupils are huge. and I watched them put him in a body bag. That was the first time I ever realized mortality, because most kids, most people discover death from a goldfish or a dog or a family member or their favorite actor, but it doesn't hit as hard unless you have that emotional connection to it. Like, I cried when my first car died. I cried when my fish died. Like, as a kid, my dad would actually freeze the goldfish in little cups in the freezer so I could look at them. And that left a very big mark on me because I didn't understand death. Everybody at the time, to me, spoke of it lightly. But death is a permanent thing. And recently someone told me about experience. You can never unexperience something. So how do you live with it? If you have an answer for that, I'm all ears. Now, who wants to go again? Could Justin go? Raven? Wait, Teen Titan? Raven, Nevermore? What? Oh, the Zoom. Got it. All right. But Justin, you're next, though. Let me get you some socks.
All right, Raven. Let me change the screen 1 second. Raven, takes me forever to do this.
Funeral blues.
Hold on. Okay, Raven. Whenever you're ready.
I just want to say, what an amazing cast of characters tonight. Thank you for having me here. So I'm Raven, and this first piece is called Death Lodge. Death Lodge. How shall we begin? We begin at the end of all which needs to die, the end of the beginning. She doesn't stare straight at me, but I know. She's calling. Pay attention, she says. It is time to die. Now, I've heard this before. She's no stranger to these parts. But as always, when she speaks, I listen. Such an odd concept, to have to die, to live, to have to let go of it all in order to truly embody. Listening, I'm listening, but I am confused. So many layers already shed. What more do I have to release? The traditional path, identity, belongings, desires, sanity, already decomposing miles back on this wanderer's road. So I ask her humbly, as I accept my place in the death lodge, what else is there to lose? And of course, I know. There is always another layer hiding. What then is this layer? I cannot drum it up from my mind. I look around me blankly, and the only thing I can do is ask. The only thing I can do is listen. The only thing I can do here in this death lodge is open to the way hiding, the tendrils grasping, the deep and precious rootlets that don't want to be seen. Way beneath, in this colonized earth, lurks these questions, lurks these answers, lurks these ancestral memories, traumas, waiting Here in the death lodge, Kalyak laughing. She tells me not to worry. She tells me simply to ask, to listen, and to begin. So that's Death Lodge, and context of that is recently released a experimental, I guess, slash or spoken word slash metal album called Hecate, and that was one of the songs. And I just have one more piece. This one's about the moon, and it's called Always. Always. Actually, she's always full, only choosing to lift her skirt to show us the meaning of time, laughing, bathing under ever-present full and glory glow, run rampant with climax. She knows. She knows. She knows our hands need tempering, our wild mind, wolf soul needs titration. Actually, her ever-present fullness, unseen, she knows. She knows. When the void will deepen us, when the knife will push us on, when the contrast of sparkling nighttime oceans will give us strength and awe to continue as our tears begging dissolve into sand. Light and dark, she's all of this, always. But what we see is another, and her magic, her rhythms, her wise, coy reveal. Always, actually, she's full. And with her magic, we learn how to be with the fullness and the emptiness and the everything and the nothing and the in-between and the question echoes we hide, the terrifying disappearances, floating, thrashing, desperate for core. She knows. She shows. This, that we truly are. Always. And I just realized that's also on the album. I chose two of them that was from the album today. So thank you so much. I really appreciate being here.
All right, let me pop in here, and then I gotta push all this. Raven, that was awesome. I'm gonna email you because I'm not gonna say it publicly, but I'm working on something something super cool too that was like similar. I think I don't know. I'm gonna let you know. It's pretty sick. Oh no, I'll put it in the chat that no one else can see. That'll work better. Okay, so let me turn you off, not because we don't like you, just because we got to, and switch back. Wait. There we go. Switch back to Dennis. There he is. All right, Dennis, go ahead.
That was a pretty surreal feeling looking at someone on the television. I kind of felt like I was Houston for the space missions, just like, yeah, that was wild. Let's all awkwardly stare. You ready, Justin? Sorry, I just love doing that.
Yeah, it works. It was super effective.
Also love your jacket. Reminds me of like old television when you get too close.
Alrighty. So, the story behind this one. It's it kind of started because the notion that our memories shouldn't or are not great places to establish, like who we are. They're incomplete. Our memories are fragmented and they're fractions of reality. They're not even the complete story. There are other people there. And so as we try to sometimes use the past to determine who we are right now, it's like, don't let the past determine that. You're right now, you're creating who you're going to be. So it's kind of investigating that. And then I was bored, as I think, folks who write a bunch get. And so I needed a challenge, or I decided on a challenge. And so when I was thinking about this time, it was like these memories that we have, they seem the same, but they're not. And the idea that stuck in my head was on an analog clock, 9:15 and 3:45. I mean, if you look at it, the 9:15 is just a straight line across the clock. So I was like, yeah, they look the same, but they're actually significantly different. So that's kind of how this thing starts. And then, so I tell a little story, and then I come back to the core of it. So this is palindrome time. So hopefully you can find, I know there's some writers and poet nerds in here, so hopefully you can pick out some palindromes. Shared memories in dusty mirrors seem Siamese, inseparable, but when the calendar skips a beat, they shift in my mind, reflections in eyes that aren't mine. 9:15, or maybe it was 3:45, palindrome time, straight line, same difference. We launched the kayak at 9:15, or was it 3:45, palindrome time, straight line, same difference. It wasn't my preference, but we left the resort at 11:11. Lured by the island's azure allure, the start of another one of our sagas. Okay. Hannah spotted it. No lemons, no melon. Renta deportiva y aguas naturales. Senor Guapo introduced himself. Madam, I'm Adam. And everything seemed civic on the level until bait and switch, his smug gums showing a glistening, chiseled sea wolf. Don't ask me how, but I saw it. Pectoralis major balancing my budget on a beach ball, sweaty triceps, arm wrestling, the wrong conversion rate. And I'm a God-fearing man, so faster than radar on a race car, faster than mama's third no when she already done told you no twice. I did what any sane spouse would do, grabbed the orange tang and vodka and headed for the pool. He introduced himself. Madam, I'm Adam. And everything seemed civic on the level until credit card surcharges. I liked the flow behind his smug gums. He didn't seem like a sea dog fearing type. Because of the gnat, just one, not 10 or a ton in a net, just one big one buzzing around everywhere. I did the mental math. I tried to stun Adam, but the price was getting nuts. I was trying to break the loop. TripAdvisor tab still open. Google review stab wounds to a tiny kayak. No more days bargaining at the resort pool, bailing out of timeshare presentations through broken vacation brochure windows. Memories are made in community but clung to in isolation. That's when they lose their shape. We remember where we were but forget who we were with. Time pushes people forward, colliding with new people, creating future people, our people pieces rearranged. It's irrelevant if it's 11 plus 2 or 12 plus 1. The thunderstorm of our love story goes suddenly silent when souls won't listen to our remembering. The earth between your heart and soul holds your fondest memories of your cherished ones. Every teardrop parroted from the past spat in the face of the future because moon stares never become astronomers looking back. Don't depend on yesterday to determine your today or tomorrow because you are in this instant who you are becoming. And you are not alone. You are never alone because all the eyes they see and remember. Memories are the anthology of the love affair with the people in your life, fading reveries that filter into feelings distilled into subtle facial expressions. And still, fragments of your face are the same, only rearranged. Palindrome time, straight line, same difference.
I am a sucker for palindromes. Race car. Oh man, I love those. Okay. All right. So, experimental concept, weird one. Living as art. Weird concept, right? Like, can you live as a poem? Can you act as a poem? Because your body, if you think about it, is an actual movable pen. It could write, it could create stories for the day. So a long time ago, I started this. This is the 4th book. But I used to write all my ideas of how to live poetically, like playing Twister out the 4 corners, or drinking in Arizona at the Arizona state line. So I just wanted to share a few that I did. So, write a Valentine with Rudolph Valentino's epitaph, The Latin Lover. Send Christmas cards from Santa Claus, Indiana. Let's see. Host a 1-hour exhibition, spontaneous art pieces inside an apartment building. Let's see. Make a Happy New Year's piñata filled with Italian chocolates and break it open with a sledgehammer. Let's see. Get knocked out by a Muhammad Ali poster. What, a poster actually fell on you? Let's see. Order the kitchen sink from the San Francisco Creamery and get put on the Wall of Fame. They give you a real sink with like 8 scoops of ice cream, 6 different toppings. I'm lactose intolerant, so that was a death sentence. Lose to myself at a chess game. I did. Let's see. Mail Christmas cards to Seneca Falls. You know, life is beautiful. You think it's all imaginary, but believe it or not, it's actually Altadena. Let's see. Visit the symbol of Palo Alto because the actual tree on the Stanford logo is a real, living, breathing tree on the side of the road. And let's see. Where is this one? And you want to hear some I haven't done yet? Yeah? All right. Oh, wait. Actually, there's a few more that I've done here. Meet McLovin. Meet Nicolas Cage. And let's see. Sit in Jim Morrison's seat at the Barney's Beanery and have his favorite drink, Jack Daniels. Hang on the Lost Boys Bridge. It's in Valencia, if you ever wondered about that. It's not the Santa Cruz one. Let's see. Where is it? Recreate the Laurie Strode shot from Halloween. I'll drink my ma at a drinking game. Take a piss on a battleship. Go for a swim in Mono Lake. I got inspired by a Pink Floyd album. Let's see. Have a toga party. Send a love letter via Telegram. Yes, Telegram still exists, but it costs $20 to send one. Let's see. Buy a plot of land in Hell, Michigan. You can buy a plot, a tiny little plot for $5. So that's where my ashes are going to go. Let's see. Fill an entire room full of balloons. You can't open the door. Take a horrible picture with the Easter Bunny. Accidentally pee on the mall Santa. He was a good sport about it. Let's see. Go to a hot spring with a towel wrapped around my head, even though I'm bald. I was bald a long time ago. Let's see. Well, this one I've been doing for years, but I like to collect water samples from lakes, rivers, oceans, and make watercolors out of them because I'd like to imbue them with the place, not just regular tap water, but imbue place within another place. Shower in the rain, complete with shampoo, conditioner, and a bar of soap. Drink champagne from a ruby slipper. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Go to Burning Man at least once in your life. I did, and I actually, when the embers blew up, I wanted to feel the fire, so I caught the ashes in the air, burned my hand. Let's see. Where is this other one? Where is this one? Kiss at the top of a Ferris wheel. Send a Valentine from all 50 states. Let's see. What's another one that I've done? Visit Simon Rodia's grave in Martinez and return soil to the Watts Towers. That one's my favorite. Simon Rodia, small man, this big, used to walk from Watts all the way to Long Beach with a pail, collect a bunch of seashells and glass and whatever he finds, and he would put it in the Watts Towers. And since he's so far from home, I took soil from his grave and buried it in Watts Towers with the lady's permission, and she gave me a piece of Watts Towers. So that's another thing. And the other thing I will share with you is fall into a swimming pool while kissing. I highly recommend that one. But who's next? Anybody want to go up again? I don't think so. Cheers.
Right. This poem is temporarily, for right now, currently called Against the Odds. Context breeds conquest. Anterior motives strangled by hoarders of language, the art of an ancient land, swept away and hidden by thick-grained sand, our attention panned across the vast depths of the desert. We waited for better weather to wash away what was and replace it with what is. Now our markings can be distinguished in the laxness of the landscape. It's in progressive motion. The notion that anything is new is a tale of time, told by prime money eaters and heavy-head pig feeders slanging vouchers on war-torn corners from crapped-out forerunners. It's dawn and the dusk is setting in, piping down off the off-winds, estranged and unnamed, pacified and not inclined to show love, but to tell the best story there ever was of history, of a word packed into a language or a sound broken into syllables. Mustard seeds of sincerity and of disbelief change the rhythm entirely, for death does the body part. In part do we know now. In part do we know. In part do I flow. In us there is a soul graces the long way home, out of mold and out of shape, covered in titanium, for goodness' sake, a namesake for the other type of Babylon. Oh.
All right. All right. I'll give you option. Story or poem? Story. Oh, everybody wants a story. Okay. Jesus Christ. Damn, what's a good story? I guess you want to know the Nicolas Cage one, right?
I was going to ask afterwards.
Oh, afterwards? Okay, I can say.
No, feel free to tell us all.
It's a really good story. All right. So, I was with my friend Desi. We just came back from Six Flags, and I said, hey, Desi, I want a fucking sandwich. I want a damn delicious sandwich. And of course, this was back in my days when I was drinking and quite inebriated. Hence, my name is Dennis Dionysus. Hello. Nice to meet you. And we went to Cole's, French dip. So I went in there, and I was just going ham on all these sandwiches. And she's like, slow down, you're going to choke. And I was like, dying's the last thing I'll do. So then as I'm gobbling around, she nudges me and says, Dennis, Nicolas Cage is over there. And I was like, no, he's not. And I look over to the left. I see a guy with a bunch of tattoos. I was like, that's not Nicolas Cage. He doesn't have tattoos. Pulls out her phone. He's got tattoos. Oh. And then I said to myself, I was like, all right, I'm going to get his attention. I can eat a peach for hours. No motion. Hey, Desi, I'm going to steal the Declaration of Independence. Nothing. So then I looked at the bartender. He's like looking at me, and I just go, ha! Face off. Nothing. So I was just like, damn, what can I do? I just start screaming, fuck! He turns, nods. And I was like, oh, it is Nick Cage. So I want to get a better look. So I walk down the bar, out the door, climb the stairs, and I just have a cigarette. I was like, I gotta think of something. And I get a text message, and I look, and it's Desi, and she's like, he's outside with you. Oh, no shit. So I turn around, and I see him, and I have a cigarette in my hand, and I go up to him. I see him right there, and I go, I've seen all your movies. I know all your lines. He just goes. And I go to him, and I say, you've seen that video where they get all your insults and your greatest quotes together? He's like, I've heard about it. Yeah, I've heard about it. And I was like, well, I'm a big fan. Do you mind if I take a picture of you? Because I'm not going to believe myself in the morning. So he's like, sure. He just does this weird smug, and I'm just going like that, fanboying like crazy. And I just lost it. So I went back inside. I didn't know what to do. Go back into the bar, and I order for Archibald's Last Memory. And that's a weird drink, the Sazerac, Luxardo, a whole bunch of stuff. And I told the guy to give me a bunch of brandied cherries in the drink, and I swallowed them like they were egg yolks. I felt like Rocky Balboa. And the guy comes back, the bartender comes back, and Nick Cage and his girlfriend or wife now at the time, he comes back and he says, Nicolas Cage paid your tab. No shit. So I tried to go out to thank him, and he's talking to a homeless man giving cigarettes, and I was just, oh, he's such a nice guy. And then I went back inside and asked the bartender, I was like, is it still open? Yeah. 2 more. So that's my Nicolas Cage story. Yeah, oh, dude. Oh, my God.
And your impression is spot on. Like, audibly, like, I could hear Nick Cage in your voice.
Right. How to get burned. Yeah, you watch that video enough times, you can just do impersonations like that, I guess. Like Billy Corgan's a fun one to do. Mm-hmm. But who wants to go next? You don't want to do it, punk rocker?
I'm good today.
You sure?
Yeah, thank you, though.
Okay. Well,
All right. So everybody in person and online in the present and in the past and the future, please give a, what do they say? Give a warm, you don't say a warm welcome. Dennis is already here. And another round of applause for Dennis, our absolutely amazing guest MC.
no, all the applause goes to you. You make this happen. You share yourselves, you share your stories, you live them out there in the world and come back here. That's living art. And I'm so grateful to be here with you all. And thank you for the patience. I'm autistic and I'm trying to cure my shyness. So me talking this much is a big thing. Normally I'll say just one word. Hi.
Thank you, Dennis.
You're welcome.
And for everybody who tuned in live, who will tune in later on, thank you. Thank you for being here. If you want to join us, always email me again. This is our, oh my gosh, which button is it? Control 4. Connect with us. Always email. I always answer. It's me. It just goes straight to me. All the social medias go to me. If you want to write, if you want to sing, you want to record, you want to dance, you want to choreograph your stuff. If you need a computer, you need a workspace, always please just reach out and we have a space for you. So next month's open mic and arts night is the 25th of October. We will be doing our costume contest and pumpkin carving contest. So we will see you there. Thank you for being here, and see you next time.